I managed to book one of the quarantine hotels for Sunday night so that I was the last person effectively to check in and the last person to check out before real quarantine arrivals began. And I've stayed, of course, as many viewers will have done, in plenty of airport hotels, and they're very good at doing what they do. They've got a decent shower, they've got a decent bed, good glazing so you can get some sleep. And yes, it was absolutely fine for just an overnight stay. Completely unsuitable given the size, though, for an 11-night stay. It's even worse than the 10 days that the government had warned about, and paying for this over €2,000 per person for the stay. That does include 3 meals a day, and it also includes COVID tests on day 2 and day 8. But you mentioned Scotland's even tougher. That's, by the way, my breakfast, which wasn't the finest meal I've ever eaten. Overnight, Scotland has effectively seen its original scheme collapse. It was hoping that it would be able to impose hotel quarantine on arrivals who came in via the rest of the UK and on the Republic of Ireland. The first two people who were sent to quarantine yesterday morning have now been told that was a mistake. Have your money back and you can go home and self-isolate. Once again, we have the situation of the UK coming up with policies rather out of time, out of key with the rest of the world.
Well, there were
And
concerns yesterday, weren't there, that some people might be trying to travel via Manchester to sort of manoeuvre around restrictions. How sort of watertight is this plan in the UK, particularly in England?
Oh yes, it's completely unworkable. It applies. I mean, the UK has some very big, important airports such as Manchester, but the government has decided that actually only Heathrow and Gatwick in London, plus a small commuter airport and Birmingham Airport, will be those that are included. So the vast majority of airports aren't included in this. The regulation of the scheme seems to be a little tricky. Lots of stories of people from these so-called red list countries mingling with many other people on the way in, and just a very far cry from the incredibly effective quarantine systems we've seen in places like Hong Kong and Australia, where there is literally a military approach to it. In the UK, well, there was plenty of warning given to travellers anyway. They had weeks to make sure that they got in ahead of this
But
problem.
there's also warning of the price as well. Look, if someone's in a situation where they need to come back to the United Kingdom for whatever emergency reason, it comes with a really hefty price tag, €2,000. What provisions are there if someone just can't afford it? Does that mean no entry?
No, it means that if they're coming back to England, they are allowed to pay in 12 monthly instalments. And if they're coming back to Scotland, there's a so-called welfare fund for cases like that. But there's huge criticism from within the travel industry saying this is too much too late, and that actually applying quarantine at a time when the UK still has over 10,000 new cases every day, many hundreds, sadly, of people dying as a result of coronavirus. We're just in a completely different place from those very successful Asia Pacific countries which have employed quarantine.
Simon, there are suggestions that just in a matter of, in a moment of hours, the government could add new countries onto that list of 33. Do you have any indication of what that might be like and how long these hotels might be in place for?
Oh, well, look, it is absolutely possible that, for instance, the government could suddenly say, right, we're going to put Spain on this list. If it did, it would cause utter chaos because there are very many British people living in Spain, many of them wanting to come back. My personal view is that this will be quietly forgotten after a number of weeks. If the policy still applies to a significant number of countries by Easter, I will be very surprised indeed. It looks, from many points of view, simply like a government reaction to public pressure, wanting to close the borders, even though a brief analysis of that shows that it wouldn't actually do much good at all.